We welcome you back to Longhorn Weekly. Our first guest today, one of the two Longhorn freshmen on this team, and that is Jordan Barnett, who joins us, and originally from St. Louis. However, I say originally, you're a native Texan, aren't you?
Yeah, I grew up in San Antonio. You know, first I was born in St. Louis, and then we moved to San Antonio when I was 2. And unfortunately, I don't remember much from San Antonio other than I had a cat at one point in time. So
it's a nice memory. Now, I mean, how long were you in Texas before you went back to St. Louis?
I moved back to St. Louis when I was 6 years old, so 4 years.
Okay.
San Antonio for 4 years.
Now, your father, Bob Bonner, played college basketball at Midwestern States. I mean, there's some native or some Texan roots there. I mean, what were some of the things that you found out about what it was like for him playing college basketball in the state of Texas?
Well, I mean, from him, you know, it was just. He just found out it was a whole different level of playing basketball. You know, he started off at Florida State, and then he left there, and then went to Midwestern State, like you said. And you know, he had a good time. I mean, you know, he was a really good athlete, and that's definitely where I got it from. That's where I got my athleticism from, my dad, and he just was able to tell me all the time that how much he loved the game, and that, you know, he had a really fun time playing in Texas.
You, of course, started to kind of get involved at an early age of basketball, and you said you got your skills from him as well. I mean, were those the kind of influences, seeing or hearing about what he had done at the college level? And I know the stories kind of get told more of a tall tale, so to speak. But did you enjoy hearing about what he did as a college basketball player, and did that influence you more to stay involved in basketball?
I mean, honestly, not really. I mean, you know, just growing up, I was taller than everybody, surprisingly, and you know, I just thought it was time to get on the basketball court, you know, and see what I could do. And then, you know, at 6 years old, you know, I started, you know, playing on a team at the YMCA, my local YMCA, and you know, it just took off. You know, I felt good about playing, you know, and I began to get handles, a jump shot, and then, you know, I continued to get better, and that helped me realize I could, you know, become good.
Okay, so as you started to play and play better in St. Louis, you get closer and closer to the end of your time in high school. What was going through your mind about wanting to play at the next level, and how in the world did you consider coming back to the state of Texas and playing basketball when here you were, obviously good enough to play at a number of colleges across the country, and you're playing in St. Louis, and you wind up back in Texas?
I mean, I just really felt comfortable here. You know, I came here on my official visit, and I absolutely loved it here. You know, I love, you know, the state of Texas, you know, the city of Austin. The players are awesome. You know, it's just a fun city to be in. And also, I have a stepsister that lives here, and she has 4 kids. So, you know, it's a great time to build a relationship with her. So
the things about the program and Coach Barnes and the other guys on the team, was that maybe the biggest part of what was the hook for you to come to the university, as well as obviously an incredible university like Texas?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, I had a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Barnes coming out of high school, and, you know, coming here and meeting the players and seeing, you know, how much cool guys they were. It was a hook right there. You know, I knew I'd be able to have fun with this group of guys, and it was just going to be a fun ride. All
right, now Jordan Barnett's with us right now. We've got some things we want to get to with him in talking about his development as a college basketball player and his relationship with his teammates. All that and more coming up when we continue with Longhorn Weekly. We'll continue right after this.
Down to 10 on the shot clock for the Owls. Back to Gersey. Off to Gerhardt, driving in through traffic. Barnett knocked the ball out of his hands. Return pass. Holmes, Barnett, and a thunderous one-handed throwdown for Jordan Barnett.
Jordan Barnett joining us here on Longhorn Weekly as we continue to talk about his transition into college basketball. You know, it's funny, you joined us after, I believe it was the game against Lipscomb, and I asked you, and I always ask freshmen this, about their first fall semester. And the answer that I usually get is an answer along the lines of, it went okay, relieved, semester's over, it's nice to get a break. I'll be ready when the spring starts, but it's always good to get that break. And So I asked Jordan, I said, how'd that first fall semester go? And your response was, good, I had a 4.0 right out of the gate. So it's good to know the student part of student athlete is right at the start. Did you expect to have a 4.0 your first semester in college, first fall semester?
Well, I mean, I definitely did not expect that. But to be honest, it's actually 3.7. I just checked.
Oh, really?
It's actually 3.7. But even that, that's still, that's still
really
very
good.
Me. I'm still really appreciative of that, with the classes I took this semester.
And you had just finished your final, so you weren't exactly sure.
Yeah,
you said, I think I had a 4.0.
Yeah, I thought I did, but turns out I didn't. So, but, I'm fine with 3.7 any day. That's good for my first semester here at Texas.
Well, and we always talk about, and I ask freshmen about this, that adjustment to college life, and they always mention those two key words, time management, as a freshman. And I see the look on your face. I mean, that's the biggest challenge, one of the biggest challenges, isn't it?
Oh, by far, definitely. Back home, I never really had to prioritize my time, but here it's a whole different level. You have practice, you have classes, in the semester. You got to go to study hall. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into the college lifestyle, and you have to find time to do other things like, do laundry, go get food, whatever the case may be. And, just figuring out how to do that, it's a really good life skill as well. It's just something I have to do.
It's a great lesson in self-discipline, isn't it? Which and you guys have lessons like this in basketball all the time, but it's a like you said, it's a great life lesson to deal with that, isn't it?
Yeah, always. I mean, prioritizing your time is, huge in life. It come up in many different situations, and to be able to learn it here early in college is a really good thing to have.
All right. And so you actually came down in June, and you were only freshman at the time because Miles Turner was out with Team USA at the time. What was it like being the only freshman mixing in with some of the more veteran guys when you were down here during the summer?
It was interesting. Just like you said, me being the only freshman on campus, it was interesting getting used to the schedule they went through. We would play pickup at times. We would, the workout schedule was really interesting, getting up really early in the morning. I had to get used to that stuff, and then, getting used to all my teammates. That wasn't very hard. All of them, like I said, they're a bunch of cool group of guys. So, it was easy to get along with them.
Okay, so then Miles shows up at the end of the summer. Now there's two freshmen, and he comes in. Certainly everybody knew exactly what he had done in high school and what his accolades were and all this kind of stuff. And my impressions of him is that he's been a great guy to be around. What was it like in those early days starting off as a teammate with him and your freshman? And you guys are the two freshmen.
I mean, right away I knew he's going to be a great teammate to have. His shot blocking, his skill level, it's definitely huge. It's definitely something that you can spot on the court. Just everything he does on the court is just, it's really good for the team. And, that connection I knew I would have with him on the court, because you can see it whenever we're on the court, there's a little bit of a freshman connection there. So, I mean, just all that is pretty good.
Well, all right, so now here you are. You've come through your first academic semester. Now you come through the first 15 games of your freshman campaign. When you look at what you've done, the strides you've made, and the challenges that are out there, what are the things that you like about the progress you've made? And by the same token, where do you feel you've got to go to improve what you do within the team framework and also individually?
Well, definitely the biggest step I've made is definitely getting used to understanding the ball doesn't have to be in my hands. In high school, I was the main guy. I'd have to take all the shots and lead us to a win. And here, that's not the case. I definitely have to move the ball around, and, Coach Barnes has stressed that we're an inside-out team, so I have to focus on getting the ball into the post. Or if I can't do that, at least move the ball to give the post an opportunity to get it. And to get to another level, I definitely have to understand I have to play a lot harder. Coach Barnes preaches that to me all the time. And, it's not easy, but, I'm trying. It's definitely going to take some time, but I believe I'll get there. I definitely know I'll get there.
There's been a lot of talk here in the past couple of days because of the loss to Oklahoma about shots. Mm-hmm. When shots don't fall, how you as a player keep that discipline and don't let it carry over to the defensive side, or don't let it affect you mentally even as you're shooting again. I remember early on in the season, you can tell me exactly what the number was. It was something like 1 for 12 or 1 for 13 in three-point shooting. I thought, this guy is shooting a lot of threes. He must be pretty good at it, even though he's only hit one so far, and you broke out of it, I guess, in the Lipscomb game as well. What goes through your mind when you start off and you're not shooting the way you normally can, or it's not falling the way it normally does? How do you get through that?
If my shots aren't falling, I just try to, play some defense and just try to make plays and stay on the court. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get rebounds, maybe get some steals, because I have to understand that shots aren't always going to fall. You may shoot a very low percentage, but it's not your shots. It's what else you're doing. If you're playing hard, then you have a better chance to, stay on the court and maybe get those shots to start falling. So it's definitely what I try to do. So
Coach Barnes didn't give you any grief at all during that early stretch when you'd only hit one of the first dozen or so three-point shots about you taking them and missing them and taking them and missing them, even though you had some good looks?
I mean, he did. He did, but, I definitely can't let that get to me. I have to understand, that the team has confidence in me, the coaches have confidence in me, and if I'm open, I got to shoot it and I just got to start making them. It's just that simple.
What do you like best? I always ask a freshman this. What do you like best about being a student athlete at the University of Texas?
What do I like best about being a student athlete?
It could be any aspect of academic or athletic life. What do you like best about being a student athlete at UT?
I mean, I just like having access to, the gym and the study hall, all the time. I mean, there are times where, I can't stay in my room when I'm doing work and I need somewhere that's nice and quiet and be able to focus. And also, to have a gym available to you 24/7, with coaches that are willing to help you on your game is definitely a blessing to have, and it's it's just really good to have. It really is.
So I want to make sure I got this right. One of the things you like best is having access also to study hall anytime, day or night, to go into a study hall.
I mean, anytime, it can even be just something as simple as to be able to print a paper. I mean, just because I can't do that in my dorm, if I can go to study hall and print a paper that I know is due the next day that I wasn't able to print during the study hall that was earlier, that's really helpful to me. It's really beneficial to me. So
sounds like a 3.7 student, actually. Thanks for the time, Jordan. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, Jordan Barnett joining us. Coach Barnes will rejoin us coming up next when we continue with Longhorn Weekly here on the Longhorn Network and heard all across the state of Texas on the Longhorn IMG Radio Network.